Let's put on some mascara, mascara, mascara. Hello everyone, it's your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, and today we're gonna get into the Lime Crime Greatest Hits Bangers edition. So this is their holiday palette that came out this year. I saw Colorful Camille with it and I was like, ooh, that looks pretty. I want to try it. So when it went 50% off on, I think it was Black Friday, I went ahead and picked it up. Shout out to my girl again, Jill, Jesus, Deals BFF, for posting that you got this for 50% off. I was like, yes, please. It says it's an eye and face palette, which I find interesting because it's like, who would necessarily use these tones on their face? I mean, you might consider using this one as a blush, and maybe if you're into fun highlighters, maybe that one is a highlighter or something. But I'm like, I don't really see anyone using this on their face. But I just read the back of it when I was holding up here, and that's what it said. So I'm like, So this palette retails for, I think, $49 or $59, and I caught it for $29. Like I said, it was 50% off. So math is not my strong suit. Moving on. I trying to figure out what kind of looks we can do with this, so I might be off camera for a little while because I'm like, I gotta get my life in order. Obviously, I'm gonna do a grungy look with some of these shades. I'm gonna do a more warm tone look with some of these shades and that. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna work like the purple and the like lilac. Sorry, the purple and like the mintish like greens together. I'm thinking I might have to pull mattes from another palette. So I have the Scott Barnes Color Balm palette out here because it does have like this pink shade. I figure I could use with the lavender if I don't feel like it works necessarily. And I was thinking maybe like this yellow to help out, and maybe like this blue. So it does have some of the similar colors in here if I want to make them like deeper or lighter, because I might want to put this on the outer V instead of having to use like the mustard shade, because I kind of want to do this on the outer V and then the mustard shade in the crease, and maybe dust this lighter yellow on top of it. So I'm probably going to be reaching into both of these palettes to to create the look, just because I feel like this one isn't that cohesive on its own for my skin tone. But yeah, I'm gonna go figure out what I'm gonna do, and then I will be right back. Okay, y'all, so here is the first eye. I took the shades Dreamy and Beam along with the shade Radiant out of here. So I'm gonna try to just use shades from each row of the palette and jump around a little bit just for us to get the looks going. I just took the pink shade out of here because, like I told y'all, I felt like there weren't enough deep enough shades in here for the kind of color story that I was looking to make. So that's why I had to dip in the Scott Barnes palette. But so far I only had to do one color out of there, which wasn't bad. And like I told you, I used 3 out of here. So let's go ahead and get started with this eye. So what I did was I took the pink and just put it on the outer V and then all in the crease. Then we dusted that that dream shade on top, that nice dreamy shade on top of that nice pink mauve edge type shade. I feel like that shade was supposed to be like a shade from, what is that palette called? Excuse me, Venus 3. Which I actually sent mine back because I didn't like the formula of those. So I'm hoping that means they changed the formula around on them, because this glittery shade in here called Beam that I really like. I remember there being a similar shade in the palette, the Lime Crime Venus 3 palette, and I didn't like it. So I don't know if they just reformulated it or what happened, but I feel like it looks way better in this palette than it did in that one. Or maybe just because I used glitter glue this time, because I could tell when I put it on the brush that it was going to need the glitter glue in order for it to be the way I like it to be. So I was like, okay.
I wish it broke more. So I'm trying to break it more.
Yeah, but so that's where we're going with that. Now we're going to take the shade Dreamy and dust it over the top of this here. Adriangameover is making TikToks, so he came to tell me about how he broke some super old flip phone my grandma had downstairs when he was making his TikTok. And he was like, he wished he had broken some more, so he's going to go downstairs and try to break a phone somewhere. It doesn't matter if she has like an iPhone something or another. I think she has like a 6. But it's like she doesn't even know where the phone is and doesn't like remember what the other week it is. So it kind of doesn't matter, you know. If he breaks the phone, it's like, oh, okay. She had the real phone at home, and it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take this and start dusting it. I just wanted to use it to kind of soften it up, if you will, a little bit. And then we're going to go in. What I did was I put the glitter glue on top. So I used the NYX glitter glue, and I put that on top. And then I put this shimmery shade on because I could tell by the way it picked up on the brush that it was gonna, you know, be kind of disrespectful. And I was gonna have to use some glitter glue. I'm sorry if you hear all the thumping. I told you all Adriangameover was trying to break a retro like flip phone. And I remember when I was like 15, I got my first phone. It was a flip phone from LG. It was like blue and silver. And my dad had Sprint, so he let me get on his phone plan. And I only had to pay $15 a month, but like I couldn't send text messages. But it was fine because I had a phone like all the other teenagers. But in all fairness, I paid my own phone bill because I had a job. My mom wasn't one of those parents who was just gonna buy me a cell phone. So I was like, it's fine. I've always been the take initiative type. If I want something, I'm gonna have it. So I, you know, took the initiative and got my first cell phone my senior year of high school. Wait, no, sorry, that was my junior year of high school when I was 15. Or was that my sophomore year? Sure, yes, let's go with my sophomore year. Okay, so when I press this in, as you can see, it gives quite the sparkle and bam in your face. So since it does that, I don't have to do too much. We're just gonna go in with the inner corner shade, and then we will be done with this first lovely, lovely look. I'm actually really feeling it. So I swatched a few shades just to see what they were gonna look like, and this is the shade we put in the inner corner here. So this is Radiant. As you can see in the eye, this is it. Swatched on the hand. So I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, pop it in my inner corner real quick. And this is the finished eye look using the first row. So I'm gonna go into the orangey type row next. So we're probably gonna use like all of these right here and then use that as our inner corner or lid or something like that, because I'm thinking about doing an all matte look and just making this our inner corner. So that's probably what's gonna happen, and then we won't have to tap into the Scott Barnes palette again till the last look, the more grungy look. So I'm gonna need this shade right here and possibly this yellow to dust over the top. So I will see you all in a few minutes. I have to go outside as usual and take a look at me. I think I'm sexy Instagram photos, and then I'll be back. Okay, you all, so the second eye look, I did pretty much what I said I was gonna do. I didn't dust this shade over. I dusted the orange over instead and just took the red all the way down. So we use this one, this one, this one, and this is what's in the corner. So let's go ahead and get started with the second look. I took this large pencil brush and went into the shade Muse, which is that dark cranberry looking shade. And I started on the outer V and just kind of work my way up into the crease. So we'll take it up in there some more. I really just took this pencil brush and just blended it all the way across, because you know why the hell not? And then across. Guess I kind of gotta get the shape going that I wanted for it. And then I took this brush, which is clean. I don't add any other product to it. Let's start trying to blend this out before we start trying to put the orange on top of this. But I want this to look as airbrushed and smooth as possible before we get to the next eye look. I mean, the next shadow. Even though we got one more eye look to go, and we'll have to pull in the Scott Barnes palette for that. But let's just focus on what we're doing right now, sis. So I'm gonna take my diffuse crease brush from Sigma, got a shade Jam. That's that burnt orange type shade you see sitting up here. So start dusting that up here. And I figured I would give y'all an all matte look, because I did it in the last holiday palette review. So it's like I try to switch it up a little bit and do an all matte one every month, the full moon. I usually just tend to stick to shimmers just because I feel like it's a little bit easier. But you know, I was like, we're gonna try today to uniquely hook it up and whatnot. So I decided to do a matte. I always feel like when I do this side, I always blend the shadow in too close to the inner corner. Now I'm going to take some eye primer from ABH, because we gotta cut the crease in order to get this look done. or put the matte on the lid, I should say. So hopefully there's enough shadow, because I feel like I should still have some primer on here from the last time I did it. So I'm hoping I got enough but I don't have to add too much, because y'all, I'm squeezing and scraping out of this one. Not that I don't have the one from Makeup Revolution, but I do prefer the ABH one. I feel like it's easier to work with for me, and I like the fact it's a little thicker. The one from Makeup Revolution, I feel like it's a little watery, and for some reason I find it more difficult to work with, so that's why I prefer this ABH one. But again, I can only find it in that little small size I just showed you, and it's like I'm not about to, you know, go through all that. So I'm gonna try to detail my crease a little bit more. I didn't dip into the shade that much. I do want to bring the crease color back. Plus we need to blend everything together before we put the lid shade on. And I won't have to dust over it, and then I feel like it not look as natural. So I find it easier for me to do it this way. So let's go ahead and put the shade Flora on. So I'm gonna just tap it all over the lid. And I felt like this would be like a nice fiery warm tone look for people who like warm tone looks. And I did the pink one just because I like that really shimmery shade. What was it, Bean, that I put on the lid. And then of course y'all know, since it's lime crime, you have to do like a grungy look. So that's the last look. We're gonna do the grungy look. So take my clean brush once more and just dust over all this. And then we're gonna go into my inner corner highlight, and then I'm gonna try to take another picture. It's cold outside, so I don't know if you're gonna get any pictures like, you know, actually outside for these looks. I might just low-key sit here where I am and do them, because when you see thumbnails like that, it's usually because I do them at night. But sometimes it just be cold outside. I'll be like, look, here's this, like, it's cold in Chicago, and I just, you know. Okay, yeah, so this is the finished second eye look using the lovely Greatest Hits Bangers palette. I'm gonna go, like I said, and take me a little, I think I'm texting Instagram photo, and then we'll come back and do the final eye look, which is gonna be nice and grungy. Oh, by the way, BAE stands for blessed and exhausted. Hey y'all, so we are on the finish line, the last eye look. As you can see, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I put the yellow up here, and then I put some brown in the crease. So let me show you what I did. I used this brown ripe, and I used this brown mud in the outer V. Then I used the shade Mustard, along with the yellow shade in the Scott Barnes palette. I used the shade Pigeon on the lid, and then I used the shades Hail and Crown in the inner corner. But what I took, the Scott Barnes palette was the lower lash line shade. So the shade Marine I told you all about. I took that one, and then I took this yellow shade here and mixed it in with the mustard shade, so you can get a little bit more brightness, so you can kind of see it on my crease. And then I took the shade Peacock and dusted it on top of Pigeon. I thought it was funny that both the shades had like bird names to them, but you know, that's what I had to work with. So let's go ahead and get started on the last look. So I'm tapping the mud and just take it and out of me. And I started kind of like into the crease, probably like right there, and then stopped. So I'm just slightly dust that in there. And I tried to connect like to the bottom shade so they'd be somewhat connected. Now I'm going to go into the shade Ripe and take this detail crease brush from e.l.f. Go ahead and start blending out all my crease. I'm mad e.l.f. didn't do the 50% off sale like they normally do, y'all. I was like, what in the world is this? It was only 40%. I'm like, it's usually 50% off like everything. What is going on here? I actually ended up not picking up anything just because I was so used to it being 50. And I looked up and it was like, it was only 40. And I was like, what? So now I just left it behind, child. I left it behind. But you know, whatever. It's fine. So we're just taking this Ripe shade and blending it into this shade. And as you can see, Ripe is more like my skin tone, maybe like a little bit darker, if you will. So that's what's giving it that like dark effect in the actual crease. So then I started off by going in with this knobbler brush and went in with the mustard shade first. Then I just put the lighter yellow one on top, but I started off with the mustard shade just to see if it would show up at all. I mean, it lightly showed up because I feel like that's where you're getting the deeper undertone from. But the little bit more of the brightness that you see, I feel like came from that lighter shade. So I just started blending over the top of this. Making it work like that. We also, I'm trying to find some new stuff to watch on Hulu. I still haven't watched that movie Bad Hair. I'm like, I need to because I'm going to be canceling my Hulu soon. One of my friends was trying to get me to get this thing called Zeus. I was thinking about getting it. I don't know. It's like a black-owned version of YouTube with a... Only thing is it has a whole bunch of reality shows, and I'm not like a huge reality show person. But I'm like, it's only $4 a month, and like it's going to be cheaper than Hulu because I think Hulu is like $6. So I'm like thinking about getting it. I don't know. Have you all tried it? Let me know. Have you tried Zeus or whatever? Because I loved, what was it, Chance and Reels, Chance of Love or something like that. You know, the ones that came from I Love New York. Like, they have, Chance has his own show on there. Because if you all didn't know, his brother Real died. But they have, like, one other brother or something like that. I was told by my friend. So, the other brother is helping Chance find, like, a chance at love or whatever. Because I think that's the name of the show. Or One More Chance at Love or something like that, since, you know, he already had the show with MTV and it was Real and Chance. But I was just like, so that one looks intriguing. Then Black China has her own show. And like I heard her mom has like her own show in there or something too. So I think I watched like 2 episodes of her mom's show. And then I think I watched like 1 episode of Black China's show. And then that was like pretty much it. So, I don't really watch TV that much. If you all didn't know, I usually watch like YouTube. I'll occasionally watch like Hulu. But if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. And I feel like I've said this in videos in the past. But again, there are new people. So hello to you. And secondly, I don't know who watches what video. So it's like I just end up saying the same thing in a couple of videos just to make sure everybody's heard it. But I'm like, I don't really watch TV. I watch Hulu. I watch YouTube. Or I'll occasionally watch Netflix. I don't even really watch Netflix anymore. Like, my son and my mom watch it. It's the whole reason we have it. But I don't know. I just don't. And then Netflix keeps going up. And I'm like, yeah, no. I feel like for what they're showing me, like, they shouldn't be going up. But at the same time, some people might disagree. I don't know. I haven't watched Netflix in a while. So let me go ahead and blend this. I didn't add any more yellow to the brush. I'm just blending out what we got going on right now before I add the extra glitter on top of the lid, which is that shade Peacock I told you all about. So I'm going to take the shade Peacock now, which I swatched them on my hand. So I put Peacock on top of the shade so you can see what it looks like on my hand. But Peacock is just a nice little glittery shade that I feel like will give it an extra, because to me this is more of a satiny type shade and I wanted some extra sparkle to it. So it is one of those blue brown pigmentish type shades, which we know I'm all about that life, but I just want a little extra oomph, because I mean, we know I just gotta be extra at all costs. So got that extra little bit there, and I was like, just gonna tap it all over the lid and it'll be fine. It'll be a vibe. So God, excuse me, I don't even know where that came from, y'all, because I haven't had anything to drink in a minute. I'm going to take this brush and try to dust underneath here and make it look a bit smoother. It still has the shade what was it, ripe on it, but I haven't added any extra ripe on it. I'm just trying to airbrush that and make it look a little smoother and nicer. I'm gonna do it to the other side as well, but I figured since this is the eye I just finished, we start off on it and then we dust the other one after the fact. So dusting all around here and underneath the bottom. I bring mine pretty low down just because you all know I have creases underneath my eye. So I figured you'd rather look at like eyeshadow underneath it than just like the wrinkly creases underneath my eye. So at least that's what I'd rather look at. So take a little bit more of ripe, put it on this brush, because I feel like it got brought down a little bit lower on this side than on the other side, and they looking a little uneven. Okay, yeah, so that's looking a little bit better there. So now we're going to go ahead and put the inner corner highlight color in, and then I will give you my thoughts on this palette. Because for once, I haven't actually spoiled it by, well, I haven't spoiled a lot of it by, you know, saying how I felt all throughout the video. Which is weird, because that's normally what I'd be doing. Okay, so pull up a little bit further there. And then we're going to take the shade Crown on top of it to give it the extra sparkle that it has on the other side, with the extra glittery looking effect to it. Okay, so this is the finished eye look. So let's talk about the palette. So my thoughts on this palette. I like it. I mean, it's general Lime Crime quality. So the only thing is I feel like it doesn't have a cohesive color story to it. That's why I feel like I had to grab from other palettes. Like, I feel like there are trickles of stuff that I can make combinations with, like I did in today's video. But it's like I feel like I have to grab into other palettes in order to, you know, make it the way I would truly want it, to be able to just use it on its own. Like, I feel like there's a lot of some of the shades I can't use, and then it has a mixture of satins, and we all know how I feel about satins. So I don't know that I would necessarily grab for this on its own. Like, when I grab it again, I will most likely use it with the Scott Barnes palette, or I'll use it with the Lime Crime Chroma palette, because I feel like some of these mustard shades and stuff like that would go good with that palette. The only thing is with the purples and stuff and, excuse me, other things, I don't know if I'd necessarily just use this on its own. So that's another reason I waited to get it at 50% off. Because if you can get it at 50% off like I did, which is supposed to be today, as a matter of fact, you're supposed to be able to get this for 50% off, but you're not going to see this today, so sorry. But I think it's worth it at 50% off. Like, if you can find a TJ Maxx or you can find a good deal, I definitely recommend you try it, because the formula of it is nice. It's just more of, I don't feel like the color story is cohesive enough for me. Now, if you're fine with this color story and you like a challenge, then I definitely say go ahead and grab it. But for me, it's just a little bit difficult. I mean, y'all saw I found pieces here and there to put together to make eye looks. We've made like 3 eye looks, so clearly you can do eye looks with it. It's just more of, I see it as more of a companion palette, because I don't feel like it's, I mean, unless you like warm tone shades with just different shimmer sparkles on it, then I guess it's for you. But I'm just not feeling like it's cohesive on its own. So those are my thoughts, but the quality's fine. So if you're want to try something, wait till this goes 50% off, and then you can get a good amount of shades from them. Or you can just grab one of their other palettes, because Lime Crime is usually on sale quite often. So I recommend the formula of their stuff. I just don't necessarily recommend that one, just because of the aforementioned reasons. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.